All right, guys. Starting off from pretty much right where we left off, part two of the big debate between Hassan Piker and Destiny. Where we last left off, Hassan Piker was talking about the his personal belief that electoral politics are important. So let's go forward from here.
Like anti-electoralists are again few and far between. It's not like there aren't that many like actual people who are like I'm not going to vote because I'm abstaining because it's a moral. It's like the morally righteous choice. But I
If you don't vote, you are surrendering a hard-won right, perhaps the only means you have to non-violently resist the bourgeoisie. So, like I talked about last episode, um, by not voting, you are essentially adopting a defeatist attitude, and it usually coincides with a position of privilege for the person adopting it because they're not personally affected by the horrible conditions of capitalism. They can afford to sort of um, advocate for it. I completely lost my train of thought. Anyway, let's keep going.
I do understand in theory why some people would make that argument. It's
Wait, make which
It's
argument?
really
The
it's
the
really
arguments
late.
that the arguments that reforming a system from within is ineffective, and the only thing you should be waiting for is the inevitable collapse of capitalism after centuries of state reform that still will not be able to prevent the
Oh, sure, yeah, and that's fine. And I see those
impending
people.
doom.
I just want to give like the hottest takes possible to remove those dipshit college larpers from my fucking.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
I have
when
no.
you
All right, here's another thing. Uh, he keeps calling us larpers. I guess to Destiny, like trying to change society, trying to stand up for your beliefs and actually bring about social change through activism, to him that's larping. And don't let him, bullshit around. Being online uh, and responding to the right online is something that is easily within the means of any leftist that has a computer. Any leftist that has the a computer and the will to combat the right wing can go ahead and do it. So let's keep going.
No
say,
interest in
well,
ever engaging with that fantastical fucking delusion. How like fucking 95% of these kids could tell the fucking ass end of a gun from the fucking handle or whatever, and are sitting here pretending like they're gonna be part of some insane fucking USSR. You know, the closest thing these guys have been to a revolution is playing fucking Call of Duty on like their brother's fucking.
I mean, you could have said the exact same thing about Lenin and the Bolsheviks. I mean, most of these people were like fairly well-to-do intellectuals. They, Lenin wasn't particularly like a soldierly type. He wasn't like Che Guevara, who like fought guerrilla wars and wrote manuals on guerrilla warfare. He was more a theoretician who put the theories of Marx into practice and adapted them into the Soviet Union uh, very brilliantly, in my opinion. Um, but to say we're all LARPing, to say that we don't know uh, our ass from a hole in the ground, I think is disingenuous on Destiny's part.
PlayStation. Like, I have no interest in having
okay,
these
but a
dumb
lot
fucks
of
in my
people are
community.
not that way anyway. Like
I don't know, man. A lot of the shit that I see with
the
the LARPing on the fucking Chapo Cell Reddit and shit, it looks like it. But
I think when he says Chapo cells, he's referring to Chapo Trap House. Um, I don't know why he does this. I think he's trying to like imply they're all incels over there. I'm pretty sure um, they're not incel. They make fun of incels like all the time on Chapo Trap House. So I think Destiny's just kind of he keeps doing these ad hominem, these just very generic name calling, almost childish attacks um, on the left without really getting into the meat of why he really opposes their philosophy. Um, and I'm not sure if this is just because he is just bored to death with those conversations. Maybe he's debated socialists in his stream so many times he's just so bored um, with having that conversation. He just doesn't give a shit about talking about it. But it comes across to me as somebody who doesn't really know that much about socialist theory, but he believes he does. He believes he's been there, done that. He's nothing else to see here. When really, I think Destiny would be surprised to find that there's a lot more to leftist theory than he thinks he knows.
Like,
Okay.
it's fucking cringe as fuck to me.
Okay. From the outside looking in, you might be hyper focusing on the most vocal elements of that subreddit, or things that stick out to you, kind of like how people who don't know your body of work might look at some of the outrageous claims that have been made about you and turn around and try to weaponize that against you. So that's, most people are being like, they're all irony poisoned degenerates like myself. So when they're expressing their anger towards landlords, they're not actually talking about like executing landlords. Some of them probably have fucking relatives or themselves have parents, like immediate parents that are landlords.
That's kind of what I said in the last episode. It's good to see me and Hassan are sort of like on the same wavelength. That's he's my bro.
They're talking about how the
I mean, I guess, but like you're
the
walking like
abolition of
such
private property.
You're
is-
walking such a fine line at this point that like I don't want to try to fucking defend that. Like, I mean, like I can sit here and I can play.
Well, buddy, I mean, you kind of have to defend that because that's the thing you're accusing the left of being hysterical over, is like the killing of the landlords. So when the left like brings up legitimate grievances towards landlords, you're all like, well, that's too fine of a line. I don't want to debate that.
I can probably defend like hashtag white genocide on Twitter and talk about why there's a difference between hashtag white genocide versus people saying we should kill black people, blah blah blah. But when you start getting like, when you have like Antifa exists and in some parts of the world it's a little stronger than other, and you got subreddits full of people saying like kill all landlords and shit, like fuck, dude, that type of rhetoric, that's really fucking hard to defend to any reasonable.
All right, Antifa. He's saying that the rhetoric of anti-fascism is hard to defend. I would actually like Destiny to sort of elaborate on what parts of the anti-fascist movement and anti-fascist action does he have a problem with? Is it the willingness to physically confront fascist Nazis on the streets? Because if so, I would really be interested in asking Destiny what he thinks is a more effective means of combating fascism, because obviously from what we see in the prevalence of the alt-right here on YouTube, simply allowing all voices in the free marketplaces of ideas alone isn't going to change minds. The propaganda war is essentially what will change minds, and at this point, unfortunately, on YouTube, alt-right presence is much more firmly established and much more prevalent, and has invaded a lot more communities and sub-communities. So let's keep going.
Non-fucking lefty mind poison fuck, right? Like I'm not going to say, well, hold on. When these guys are being irony filled about like killing all landlords and capitalists and shit, they're just joking, and that's just LOL irony. But these other people here doing the clown honk memes, those are the real problems, right? And these are positions that I kind of hold, but man, you got to understand that's a really fucking hard line to walk, right? Do you understand that?
But okay, like I talked about in part one, the line is drawn in the targets of those calls to violence. You can't really have a political ideology without justifying violence towards at least some group or another. You can say even in the most extreme cases of like political pacifism, like even non-violence may result in greater violence, like if you refuse to intervene in a horrible genocide. So there are cases where, let me go back a little bit more, just so I can get like the full context of what he's trying to say here, because I don't want to like mix my words, and I don't want to put words into his mouth.
So that's, most people are being like, they're all irony poisoned degenerates like myself. So when they're expressing their anger towards landlords, they're not actually talking about like executing landlords. Some of them probably have fucking relatives or themselves have parents, like immediate parents that are landlords. They're talking about how the
I mean, I
abolition
guess,
of
but like you're
the
walking like
abolition of
such
private
a
property
you're
is
walking such a fine line at this point that like I don't want to try to fucking defend that. Like, I mean, like I can sit here and I can play.
Oh yeah. Essentially, what I was gonna say was that the violent calls of the left are directed upwards towards the capitalists that are protected by the police, by the institutions, by the very nature of capital itself. And so their calls for violence are really not likely at all to come into actual effect. There's not, when was the last time you heard of a mass shooting that took place on Wall Street where a bunch of bankers and stockbrokers get killed? Never. But you hear almost every other week about some kind of hate crime from the right directed towards some kind of oppressed minority, and it's this is far from anecdotal. There are so many examples of this happening, uh, uh, and right wing crime is right wing extremist violence is definitely on the rise since the onset of the alt right. So what is to be done, except for anti-fascist action? Once again, I ask you, are we just supposed? Is the proletariat just supposed to lay down and take the oppression without responding with indignation, without rising up and demanding some kind of action to be taken, whether direct action in terms of Antifa or even just online activism? Uh, People are angry at the injustices of capitalism, and they are using what they have in their own means to voice their anger and fight against this oppressive system.
I can probably defend like hashtag white genocide on Twitter and talk about why there's a difference between hashtag white genocide versus people saying we should kill black people, blah blah blah. But when you start getting like when you have like Antifa exists and in some parts of the world it's a little stronger than other, you've got subreddits full of people saying like kill all landlords and shit. Like fuck, dude, that type of rhetoric that's really fucking hard to defend to any reasonable non-fucking lefty mind poison fuck, right? Like I'm not going to say, well, hold on, when these guys are being irony filled about like killing all landlords and capitalists and shit, they're just joking and that's just LOL irony. But these other people here doing the clown honk memes, those are the real problems, right? And these are positions that
One last thing about that whole it's all a joke thing. I don't think leftists say it's a joke. We say it because we feel it in our hearts. We feel it in our bones. We feel the anger towards the bourgeoisie, and the oppression, yada yada, all that stuff. And this is why we say stuff like "kill the rich, kill the capitalists," "no gods, no masters." Those kinds of phrases, because those are phrases which are expressions of the indignation and anger of the proletariat, which is they have every right to be. But let's keep going.
kind of hold, but man, you got to understand that's a really fucking hard line to walk, right? Do you understand that?
I do understand it's a hard line to walk, and it's not yours to walk. You don't have to. You can.
Well,
you
but I
can
kind
say-
of
you
do.
can
If I've got
decide-
people, no, because I've lost people in my community that shit like this, and I didn't believe whatever. I appreciate having right-leaning voices in my community, and I've lost some of these, and it's really hard to try to defend. Like people making honk noises on YouTube are enabling Nazis, but people saying kill.
All right. But just for a reminder, this is what a clown honkler meme looks like. Where is it? Oh yeah. It says respect diversity, preserve the uniqueness of your own culture. Over here in the bottom right, it says every color has its place, an ethnic home for every race, with a little rainbow-colored swastika emblem. So yeah, that's a clown honkler meme. Very obviously a racist dog whistle. Very obviously fascist propaganda. I don't think Destiny would have to struggle at all to prove that is Nazi propaganda. But from what I gather, he's actually trying to argue that it's not. It's just as ridiculous to argue that this these clown honkler memes are not, in fact, Nazi memes. But let's keep going.
Kill all capitalists are okay.
Kill all
But-
capitalists? We're all capitalists, Destiny.
Yes, but a lot of lefty people will say shit like this. So like, it's a really hard line to
I don't
like. Well, one is
know.
okay.
So-
Maybe
Here's a little thing I think Hassan kind of tripped up on. We're not all capitalists, you know, unless you own a fucking factory, and you know have employees that you pay. You're not a fucking capitalist. We all live in a capitalist system, if that's what you mean. And I think that's what he meant, was that we all live and participate in this capitalist system, even though some of us don't want to. You know, like the socialists.
not kill all capitalists, but at the very least, like kill all landlords, eat all landlords, or steal
like,
all the
eat
property back from the.
landlords and all this. All of that is
Look, and then I get fucking. And I don't,
is
I'm
a
sorry, I don't have to
manifestation
call
of
it, like,
is a manifestation of the outright anger that they feel at the unequal.
That's not an argument for any. I don't care about your manifestation of anger. Fucking people.
All right. So, you know, Destiny's always like, come on my stream, debate me. And for a while I considered it, even though, you know, I'm a pretty shy dude. I don't like to, you know, put myself in front of especially thousands of like potentially hostile audience members. And so, you know, this is why I ultimately, you know, and am hesitating to do that, because I just use that argument of like the indignation of the working class. And the second Hassan started saying that, Destiny just cut him off with, "Oh, I don't care about that. I don't give a shit about that." Well, okay, Destiny, you're supposed to be this big-brained, big boy debater. You know, a debate. You can't just fucking say in the middle of a debate, "Oh, I don't care about that." I mean, could you imagine if this was like an official event, like the Slavoj Žižek versus Jordan Peterson debate? Could you imagine if Jordan Peterson just said, "Oh, I don't care about, you know, what you have to say. I don't care about that." But anyway, let's go on.
People are mad at fucking Muslims, and they manifest their anger by fucking shooting up mosques. Like, it's also annoying that like so many lefties seem incapable of separating like their feelings on things from like any type of fact-based argument. So like, I can.
All right, so I think Destiny's going full-blown Ben Shapiro here with the facts don't care about your feelings. Like I said, the feelings are a result of the facts. So anyway, let's keep going.
Literally go on Twitter and or well, I'm not gonna use Twitter because I'm highly inflammatory there, but like I'll make an argument where I say I don't believe in the concept of a living wage because I don't know if markets can necessarily bear that type of pressure. I think that we should make sure that people have living wages by addressing it via things like tax policy or a welfare system. I think that that's a healthy way to address it to ensure that people have all of their basic needs.
Okay, but the second that the left tries to call for changes to tax policy, like people like AOC, which Destiny shitted on previously, shitted all over her, and socialists who call for a more egalitarian system. Like Destiny is just resistant, not only to even socialist change, but just to minor changes in terms of minimum wage. He doesn't believe, like he said that he doesn't necessarily believe in the concept of a living wage. Well, how are poor people supposed to live? Tax deductions? Well, if they get paid jack shit, then what does it matter how much tax deductions they get? You know, you deduce tax on what, like $10? Like what? That's gonna leave you. Ooh, I got $9 to spend to feed my whole family. You know, that's, you know, kind of a very elementary example. But let's keep going.
Right? I can make a statement like that, and the way that all the leftists respond is, "Oh, Chud Bootlicker, you hate poor people and workers," and like that's literally like the unanimous response from people on the left. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, this is.
That's kind of my response to Destiny. You can't just say like I don't necessarily believe in a living wage, and expect poor people to be like, "Yay," and expect socialists to be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, dude." I don't know what planet Destiny lives on where like he expects the left to react positively to these statements, but yeah, it's not Earth.
Literal fucking cancer. Like, I'm getting brain rot listening to this shit.
Wait, so you
I'm getting brain rot listening to Destiny's just pedantic way of dismissing any real criticisms of leftist theory as just being like, oh, it's just a bunch of Spurg Lord LARPer incels living in their fucking mommy's basements.
you're I'm confused. So you're talking about like improving the material conditions in which workers exist, but people are still mad at you because you.
Yeah, I agree with yes. This is like the issue I've had 90% of the time. If you next to any incel capo dipshit, we probably agree like on 95% of our policy positions. But like because I don't take like this pure hardline, another word for autistic approach to like fucking treating like workers like these holy fucking paradigms of reason or some stupid fucking shit. Like,
all right, this isn't. He doesn't have just a minor differing opinion. They don't agree on like 95% of stuff. That statement is observedly false when he gives statements like I don't necessarily think the minimum wage should be a living wage. Um, I don't think that the income discrepancy between managers and average workers is that big of a deal. Um, these are issues which are like fundamental to the politics of the left, and for somebody like Hassan it would be of like primary concern. So for Destiny to say like, oh, we're pretty much the same on like 95% of issues except for this like giant fucking issue which forms like a huge crux of um because a person's stance on how they feel about income inequality uh, influences this and prescribes the stances they have on a myriad of other economic issues. So no, Destiny and Hassan are not on the same page. Why the fuck do you think they're here debating? These aren't two friends here having a conversation about how they agree with one another. These what I see here are two people that are diametrically opposed to one another.
I'm literally
Politically speaking.
like an alt-right Hitler.
Okay, no one thinks you're an alt-right Hitler. All right.
Man, I don't know that chapo.
I don't think Destiny is an alt-right Hitler. I think he's grossly misinformed about leftist policy. I think he has the potential to be an educator, to reach across to an audience that BreadTube can't really tap into because they don't trust us. They don't trust socialists, but they might trust somebody like Destiny who is at least on the surface level willing to debate anybody, and he does engage in debates with right wingers. So perhaps he's throwing them a bone by like saying that he debates left wingers too just as much, and he disagrees with them too just as much. But at the same time, for someone who says that he is really open for debate with anybody, he's doing a very poor job at like defending his just grossly callous statements about the workers and I mean at the very center of Marxist theory is the concept of class struggle between the workers and the capitalists. And so to chastise the left on lifting the workers up on this pedestal, that's displays tremendous ignorance of leftist theory, because that's what it's all about, friend, is empowering the proletarian to bring about the revolution of the proletariat. That's what it's about. So yeah, placing workers on a pedestal and treating them like they're holy or whatever, that's the essence of socialism. That's the essence of the proletarian revolution, is to empower the workers. So yeah, we're going to rally to their defense, and we're going to defend them against the onslaught of capital wherever we can.
Thread had like fucking 700 comments where they're talking about like Molina and shit. It's like, what the fuck? It literally reads like a fucking cable file. Yeah, like basically, like as soon as I get hated by like any fucking community, like every thread starts to read the same. Like the thread on me on the Chapo subreddit was basically the same thing I would expect to see about me like in the Donald. And
wait,
I had two
but don't you
threads
think that? Wait, hold on. Don't you think that that's always the same regardless? Because people just go for ad homs instead of actually addressing the things that you're saying.
I mean, I'm really trying with this series not to go for ad homs. I'm trying to really take what Destiny's saying in context. I'm trying really hard to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm trying to not to argue with him, but to listen to his arguments in good faith. I'm trying to not just accept that he's some kind of bootlicker that sold out to capital, but he is just somebody who is honestly invested in this issue. Somebody who honestly cares about this issue. I hope he is. His attitude so far, though, hasn't really displayed that. It's kind of displayed the opposite. Um, and this is a Destiny that I haven't really seen before. The previous Destiny debates I've seen, he's always been very willing to to uh, argue against his opponent's arguments. Here, Destiny just says stuff like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that," or "That's cringy," or "That's something that a basement-dwelling LARPer Sprue Lord would say." Um, so I mean, it comes across as like very unprofessional in terms of him masquerading as like this debate master. But let's keep going.
That always
Yeah, I guess,
happens,
but it just makes me feel shit.
It happens
Exactly
with
like
me
every
too.
community.
Like everyone always goes back to the same fucking memes, whether it be like a liberal or someone who is further to the left of me. There's not that many people out there, but you know, or people in the alt right or people who are conservatives. There's always nepotism.
Yeah, I guess, but like I feel like I'm unironically feeling like the horseshoe theory or some dumb shit where it's like, oh, cool. Well, if left or right people, I literally pedophile, satanic, fucking whatever figure. I'm either a hardcore fascist, which apparently a lot of what people think I am. Just today, I had a 700 comment thread on Chapo Trap House about how horrible I am, and then I also had an article written about me about how much of an extreme leftist I am, and then I had a 300 comment thread today about me in the Donald about how an extreme leftist I am. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is the difference between any of these fucking communities? Like,
I think like I said in part one, Destiny kind of stands above the pack in terms of like being semi-intelligent when it comes to just when it comes to debating in general. Um, Especially like in the gaming community and stuff. Like this guy can hold a conversation. He can argue his points coherently when he wants to. I don't think he really wants to in this case, but when Destiny wants to, he can be a good debater. So I think for those reasons, he has been sort of exposed to the most hyper and the most vocal voices in all of these communities. He has made a lot of enemies by what he said, but everybody's going to make enemies when you have a platform that big and you're speaking about something as inflammatory as politics. I mean, I'm expecting not to make any friends with the alt right, and I don't want to make friends with the alt right. Uh, and I don't give a shit what they have to say about me. I think Destiny might be feeling a little hurt that the left is also saying stuff about him too. Uh, I don't know if there are people out there calling him a fascist. I don't think he's a fascist. Um, I don't know everything about Destiny, but he doesn't come across as a fascist. He hasn't said anything about like dominance hierarchies and the master race and all that shit. So I think it is a bit hyperbolic to label him that, but this is the internet. People are crazy. People are hyperbolic. Sometimes that's just the best way to get your point across. I try not to do that, but I sometimes I sometimes wonder about how to title my videos. Should I really go for like super hyperbolic, just like making fun of somebody using really inflammatory language, or should I dial it down, but risk people not really clicking on it? So I mean, it's kind of it's kind of a trade-off there, but let's keep going.
what the fuck?
Okay, there are differences between good things and bad things. You know this.
Okay, listen.
But
you can
in
meme
that
like
instance, no. Oh my God.
You just did the lefty meme to me. Do you understand? Fascism and protecting workers' rights. I literally can't tell the difference. Like you
That is true, though.
just did the dumb fuck meme. You understand that?
You didn't let me finish. In this instance, they're both attacking you, so it feels like both sides are the same when the opinions and ideas of both sides are, of course, not the same. That was how I was going to finish that conversation.
Okay.
But again, people on Reddit talk a bunch of shit.
I think most of the upvoted takes I read was even though Destiny.
All right, let's look at it this way. Like, let's say that there's like a bug in your room. There's also like a lizard in your room, and you want to squash the bug, but the lizard wants to eat the bug. Either way, the bug's gonna get killed. From the bug's perspective, both the human and the lizard are both attacking it, are both just equally as horrible, impending doom monsters. But to both the lizard and the human, they have completely different motivations. So you know, keep that in mind.
Chud bootlicking fascist. He's still a good pipeline, and even though I can barely tolerate watching his streams, I watch him because of that or something. It's like those are usually the most upvoted comments that I've read.
People on the Chapo said that there were people in the Chapo subreddit that were saying nice things about you too. Listen, Chapo subreddit fucking talk shit on me too.
One tweet, Andy.
Chapo talks shit on everybody, dude. I mean, that's just part of being internet famous and talking about politics on the internet. People are gonna talk shit. Um, everybody's got an opinion, and with topics like this, everybody's gonna get a little pissed off.
I don't want to be a one tweet Andy, but there are a lot of people tweeting me yesterday, like, oh, like every fucking worker could be a really good manager, and managers don't do anything. And if the workers ran the world, it would be a way better. Like, okay, dude, I don't know, man.
Maniacal Comics are gonna have
I talked a little bit about that. I think in the very first part of this series, I talked about how nobody's saying that like your average unskilled, untrained worker could manage a giant multi-conglomerate empire. Nobody's saying that. What they were saying was that we should empower workers to take the position as management, namely through elections, through democratically organized elections in the workplace. I got tongue-tied. Democracy in the workplace is pretty much like intrinsic to socialism. I'm gonna drink some water, so let's continue here.
completely different perspective than a Marxist-Leninist, both in how to bring about a socialist system and also how a socialist system should run. So there
I
are
want to
plenty
start
of
it
different
over
ideas.
just a little.
Have a completely different perspective than a Marxist-Leninist.
Like every fucking worker could be a really good manager, and managers don't do anything. And if the workers work.
When he mentioned Marxist-Leninist, my ears perked up. I was like, ooh.
Ran the world, it would be a way better. Like, okay, dude. I don't know, man.
Maniacal Communists are going to have a completely different perspective than a Marxist-Leninist, both in how to bring about a socialist system and also how a socialist system should run. So there are plenty of different ideas.
I'm really glad that Hassan is like trying to take the time to explain this to him, because there are so many people that just put the left under this great giant blanket, and it's always good to try to educate people that the left, it's not like the right. There's a true diversity of like thought and opinion on how to approach the proletariat revolution. Some much more effective than others, but yeah, let's go on.
So don't get caught up on one leftist person, especially because you and I both know that unfortunately leftist ideas are not necessarily broadly represented in media or even in our schools, in our institutions of education.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with anything you're saying.
And I think there's a distinction with what Hassan said. There's not a lot of representation of leftist ideas in the media. That's not to say there's not representation of liberal ideas in the media. We've all heard the endless complaining from the conservatives about the liberal media. This has some truth to it. There's also a great conservative wing in the media as well. But let's keep going. I'm eager to see where this conversation goes.
I'm cool with all this as long as the fucking LARPers get the fuck out of my community. Okay, I'll keep doing what I do. They can go fucking
they're not
LARP.
gonna leave. I tell them to go back to your community too, but they won't leave. I guess the last question I have is from all the conversations that we've had about capitalism and about you being a social democrat. What I still can't seem to.
Okay, so this is pretty interesting. Destiny identifies as a social democrat. I mean, because earlier he said that he wanted to approach workers' low income, from a point of view of like tax policy and other like welfare spending. So I don't know why he necessarily has this opposition to like a higher minimum wage or a living wage, being a social democrat, because that's pretty much going to ensure like people aren't, starving and dying on the streets. At least the idea of a social democracy is to have a state in which the proletariat are well enough off that they can keep buying and consuming the consumer products in the capitalist marketplaces, but not so wealthy that they become the capitalists themselves. Obviously, under a capitalist system, you're always going to need the majority to be wage workers.
To understand is, unlike other even Keynesian economists and other social democrats, you admit that capitalism is inherently flawed because of the class antagonism built into the heart of it, right?
Well, no, I don't know if that's true at all. I don't necessarily think classes are bad.
The question wasn't like, do you think classes are bad? I think the question Hassan was trying to ask him is, does he believe in the concept of like class struggle, class antagonisms? I'm eager to see if Destiny catches this or if he just keeps going.
I'm going to describe it to you then. As a worker, you want to work the least amount of time for the most amount of pay. As a boss, you want your workers to do the exact opposite. You want them to work the most amount of time for the least amount of pay. The boss, ultimately, having more capital, having secured more capital, will end up dictating the terms and have outsized influence and an asymmetry of power, and therefore force the worker to work on his terms. This is the class antagonism that allows the wealth hoarding to occur under capitalism.
And looking at it from a moral perspective, it's completely exploitative of the worker. The worker is not in a position to disagree. He's not in a position, because what's he going to do? If he disagrees, he'll be fired, and he'll have to go out on the street and be homeless. So in a capitalist system, and I think Marx drew this distinction in his analyses of historical materialism. But in a slave society, at least your existence as a slave is guaranteed. The master has a vested interest in keeping his slave alive. In a feudal society, the landlord has a vested interest in keeping the serf alive so that he can work the land. Because, the landlord is busy off fighting the king's wars. He can't do it himself. But in a capitalist system, workers are entirely replaceable. You can just fire this worker and replace him with another one. If a worker complains, you can just fire him and replace him with one that will work for less or won't complain. So the very essence of like workers uniting together, the class of proletarians uniting together in a struggle against their common oppressor, the capitalists, that is not only real, but it is like historical materialism, which the very basis of this philosophy is based on the real. That's why it's historical materialism. It's not, the material conditions, the real existing resources in a society and how they're allocated determine the class structure, and the structure of this of the classes may result in class antagonisms, which result in revolution. Let's keep going.
Perfectly like horrible capitalist world, sure, but in the real world, right, markets should set wages that aren't necessarily that horrible. That, like, for instance, because ideally somebody would want to open a firm up and pay somebody $2 an hour to do a job. They probably can't do that because another company is going to pay them more than $2 an hour, right?
There are definitely other forces in play. Like there's social pressure. There's collective bargaining in some countries.
I think here's a good spot to sort of end like part 2 of the debate. The final part, we will wrap it all up, and there might be time at the end for a sort of like a post viewing discussion, because there is a huge amount of stuff to unpack with this debate. But so far, my impressions, I'm very disappointed in Destiny, very disappointed in his unwillingness to really listen, his unwillingness to really argue with what seems like a genuine interest. he doesn't really seem interested in really debating this topic. He just seems interested in really name calling and like straw manning the left. So with all that being said, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.